It's the last hooray for Errol Spence. Get in and watch
Yeah.
his last fight.
Just recently, he was just talking about how he's gonna retire me and looking forward to retiring me and things like that. So, I take that all in. That's serious. So, I'm just looking forward to it, man. We're going to wars. I'm not in there to just be all hugging and kumbaya. And, we can do that after the fight. It's wartime now.
No, not really. I'm preparing for the best. The biggest thing for me is to test his heart. How bad does he want it? When you've been there, done that in the sport, it's sort of like, do I need to do this? Do I need to keep on going? That's what I want to test when he starts talking to himself.
Tempers flared as Errol Spence and Tim Tszyu exchanged fiery barbs during a tense live interview. Tim Tszyu makes it clear he is approaching the Errol Spence fight as a defining moment in his career. He embraces the pressure instead of avoiding it, explaining that he has always preferred taking the toughest path and putting everything on the line rather than choosing the safer option.
Do you see it as now or never with a win over Errol Spence? Sorry.
I'm treating it that way.
Yeah.
It's a do or die, kill or be killed,
Yeah. Yeah. Do you like putting that pressure on yourself? Then
I just like that feeling of just when you're able to put it all on the line, like gamble. That's what it's all about for me, like the safe path never really interested me. I've always wanted to take the risky part, just put it all on the plate, do or die, kill or be killed. May the best man live.
Errol Spence is confident he will put on a dominant performance against Tim Tszyu. While he expects Tszyu to come into the fight fully committed, Spence believes his performance will clearly separate him from Tszyu.
July 26th, you can expect all-out war. I think a one-sided fight. I think he's gonna give it everything that he has, but I'm definitely gonna put on a great show and show the fans of Australia, show the world that Errol the True Spence is back.
Looking ahead to the matchup, Grant Tassie is backing Tszyu to come out on top, insisting his prediction is based on his boxing judgment rather than their friendship. He believes Tszyu's urgency and determination will be major factors, with both fighters entering the contest knowing their careers are at a crucial stage. Tassie expects Tszyu to take control and finish the fight before the championship rounds.
I give predictions based on my boxing brain, and I do believe Tim will beat Spence. I'm not saying it because he's a friend and I want him to do it. I believe that Tim Tszyu will beat Errol Spence. I believe that he'll stop him inside 9 rounds. I'm not taking nothing away from Errol, but I think Tim knows he's got this. This is it. Career's on the line here. You got the big fish, a name that you wanted for a long time.
On the other side, Terence Crawford expects an entertaining fight between Spence and Tszyu, believing the matchup comes at the right stage of both fighters' careers. Although he has picked Spence in a friendly wager, Crawford admits he is far from completely confident because both men bring proven quality and have endured plenty of tough battles. Even so, he gives Spence the edge, feeling his overall boxing ability could be the difference on fight night.
I think it's gonna be good. I got a little wager bet. For my boy Tszyu. He got Tim, I got Errol. But I think it'd be a good fight for both of them at this stage in their career.
And why are you confident that you win that bet with Tszyu? Why does Errol win the fight?
Well, I'm not, 100% confident. I just know, the caliber of fighter that Errol is. Just like I know the caliber fighter of Tim. I think both of them have taken a lot of damage in their career so far, but I just think, Errol skill-wise, just edge.
Similarly, Teofimo Lopez predicts Spence will deliver a strong performance against Tszyu. He believes Spence's dedication to training and consistent work in the gym will show once the opening bell rings. Lopez expects that preparation to help Spence look sharp and perform at a high level on fight night.
Do you think that ring rust is going to play a factor at all with Errol?
I don't think so. I think Errol Spence has been truly non-stop working out. He already looks like he's in shape now. And when you stay on that trajectory, when you're staying consistently on working out, it's only bound to happen with the sparrings and everything.
Adding to that, Ben Damon admits he finds this matchup almost impossible to predict because there are too many unanswered questions surrounding both Spence and Tszyu. He feels the long layoff, past setbacks, and uncertainty over each fighter's current form make it difficult to know what to expect once the opening bell sounds. Rather than favoring one side, Damon believes any prediction is little more than speculation until both men step into the ring.
I don't know what happens in that fight because I simply don't know what version of Errol Spence we're getting. I've got no idea. It could be any number of versions of a man who has been a truly phenomenal and obviously a superior and world-class fighter, but he's coming to Australia after this long break with all of the other things that have gone on through his life, and he's taking on a hungry Tim Tszyu, a man who has been beaten badly on a couple of occasions himself and who we cannot be sure what version we're going to see of him either. So this is just anyone who tries to make a prediction on this fight is guessing because nobody can possibly know. It is just one of those things where you're going to have to watch it to find out how it goes down, because if you think you know, you simply don't.
Building on that point, Ben Damon believes this is a defining moment in Tszyu's career, with the result likely to shape what comes next. He feels another setback would make the road back to the top far more difficult, while a strong showing could keep Tszyu in the mix for major opportunities. Damon sees this fight as a crucial chance for Tszyu to rebuild his momentum and position himself for another marquee bout.
Tim Tszyu, does he have to win this fight against Errol Spence?
Well, I guess maybe because of where he has put himself, he does. He's sort of changed everything, hasn't he? Like, he can't make any more changes, you wouldn't think. It'd be a surprise. Maybe he self-trains into another...
He seems to have always bounced back, right?
Yeah, he does, and that's testament to his confidence. I know at times he has thought, and he's made this public, that he's thought about walking away from it all, which is very difficult when your surname's Tszyu. But it would be tricky, you would think, to see him get back to this level if he were to lose this fight. And obviously it depends how you lose. If he gets sparked in a round by Errol Spence, that's especially difficult. If it's a fight of the year, life and death battle, maybe it's a little bit easier. But certainly the path that he's thinking about is winning this fight and then going into a mega fight.
Ronnie Shields is encouraged by the progress Spence has made throughout training camp. He believes Spence's defensive improvements and disciplined preparation have him moving in the right direction ahead of his return. Shields' main focus is for Spence to remain composed, trust the strategy they have developed, and let his preparation show once the bell rings.
Look, I just want him to be himself. You know, despite what everybody say or what everybody think, you know, the way we're training, I just want him to stick to the game plan. And whatever happens is going to happen. But right now, I feel really great how everything is going. His defense is really picked up really well. And, you know, evidence of that is his sparring. And, you know, he's just working hard. So, you know, he knows how to rest. And that's the most important thing.
Building on that confidence, Ronnie Shields dismisses the idea that the long layoff will leave Spence as a lesser fighter. Instead, he believes the extended break has allowed Spence to recover physically and return in even better condition than before. Shields credits Spence's improved sharpness, power, and defense in training as reasons for his confidence, believing the performance itself will answer those who have questioned Spence's future.
The biggest question here is, you know, a lot of fans said that, you know, he won't be the same, you know, being the 3-year layout. You've been in camp with him. How's the camp been so far?
Well, everybody's right who say he's not going to be the same. He's going to be better, so much better than he ever was. You know, his body is well rested. He feels really good. You know, everything is going great. And as you saw today, you know, his punches are fluid. You know, he's strong, and he's throwing the punches to where I think he should throw them. And, you know, defense is looking good. So everything is going great. And, hey, everybody that's thinking he don't have anything left, Just wait.
Meanwhile, Derek James avoids reading too much into Spence's situation and instead focuses on what Tszyu brings to the ring. He believes Tszyu is a physically tough opponent who forces rivals to rely on movement and disciplined boxing rather than trading punches. James expects both fighters to come prepared and sees the contest developing into a highly competitive fight.
Think Tim Tszyu has a favor because of the 3-year layoff from the Errol Spence had, maybe?
I don't really know. I don't really know. I think Errol was going to do what he was going to do, but I think that, Tim Tszyu's a very tough fighter, and you got to be able to use your feet, and you got to be able to box him, because if not, he's going to try to bang you out. So, you just got to be prepared for that.
Likewise, Eddie Hearn believes Tszyu is being underestimated despite his recent setbacks. He argues that Tszyu remains a high-level fighter and poses a serious test, making this far more than a routine opponent for Spence. Hearn expects the fight to be highly competitive and feels Tszyu has a genuine opportunity to pull off a major victory.
Yeah, I actually think it's a good fight. I think Tim, for a while now, Tim has been a much avoided fighter because, there was this kind of perception of him that he was this monster. But the reality is he's had a couple of defeats and people look upon him now as a kind of opponent. And that's what Errol Spence's team are doing. But I think Tim's more than an opponent. I think he's a very good fighter and I think he's got a lot about him. And I think it's a very dangerous fight for Errol Spence to come back to. 2 years out of the ring, obviously the car crash, the retina problems over the years. And yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. And I wish Tim all the best. Again, not on our team, but with our hopes to build Australian boxing, hopefully he can go over there and get a big win.
Moreover, Brian Norman Sr. expects an entertaining matchup, but believes there are too many unanswered questions to confidently pick a winner. He hopes Spence can remind everyone why he was once considered one of boxing's elite by delivering a convincing performance. At the same time, Norman Sr. feels Spence's lengthy absence means his true form will only become clear once the opening bell rings.
I think it's gonna be a good fight. Man, it stands to be seen. It's like I told you, man, anything can happen on any given day. He's been out of the ring for a long time. And he put a lot of pressure on. I fuck with Errol. Like I said, I bet with Errol. I thought he was gonna beat, but I would have lost my whole house. But so I fuck with. I just let you know I fuck with Errol. I hope he does great against him. I hope he comes out, and shows he's back. I hope he don't get out there and get no PTSD, because PTSD is real. I keep telling y'all that it is real. So I hope he don't get out there and get him. But it's been a long time, so he shouldn't have PTSD. He definitely should have PTSD.
At the same time, Brian Norman Sr. believes Spence is fighting for more than just a victory as he tries to restore the reputation that once made him one of boxing's most feared champions. Norman Sr. feels the expectations surrounding Spence are so high that merely edging past Tszyu would leave many unconvinced. In his view, only a commanding display can erase the doubts that have built up over the past few years.
I don't know, bro. He kind of got to dominate. I think for a lot of people to get all the way back on his side, he kind of got to knock him out. He kind of got to, or beat the shit out of him. He kind of got to, because Tim Tszyu got like 3 losses now.
Yep.
Yeah, because he got 3 losses now. That's us. We hold Errol at such a high standard. So for him to get that kind of respect back at 36 years old, he kind of gotta dominate. You feel what I'm saying? But you only got one life. He 36. He ain't getting no older. I've been there, but not at 36. I was there at 31. So, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I hope he does well. I hope he does very well. But the pressure is definitely on him. Not Tszyu. It's on him.
Grant Tassi argues Tszyu has the tools to outwork Spence if he sticks to the disciplined approach that has brought him success in the past. He feels Tszyu should apply pressure from the opening stages while remaining composed and making smart decisions rather than forcing the action. Tassi expects Tszyu to rely on his timing, feints, and accurate right hand to gradually take control of the fight. In his view, that game plan gives Tszyu the best path to victory.
I believe he'll be on song, and I believe he'll have too much for Errol Spence. But I like him to start early. Really, remind Spence that you've been off for 3 years. This is what it's like being hit hard, and jump on him early, but do it intelligently. Obviously, I don't mean just go out there blazing like buckram. I mean, do it intelligently, like he did against Tony Harrison, like he did against Bam Mendoza. I believe that version of Tim Tszyu, feinting, using the lead hand and dropping that right hand down the pipe, I believe that's the Tszyu that we'll see, and that'll get him victorious.
Beyond the tactical battle, Grant Tassi believes the stakes could not be much higher for both Spence and Tszyu. He argues that a close result would still preserve hope for another opportunity, while a stoppage loss could permanently change the trajectory of a fighter's career. Even with those consequences, Tassi expects Tszyu to stay focused on making the most of the opportunity rather than worrying about what is at stake.
I think, look, a loss for either guy. We'll put it this way. A stoppage loss for either guy is career ending. I don't care how it is. So if one of the guys lose on points, you know, and it's close, then there's a chance they can fight on. But if Errol or Tim happens to either one of them gets stopped, it's career over. There's no way, I don't think, to rebuild them, especially with all the superstars around at the moment, the Boots Ennises and the Virgil Ortizes and the Funduras. So I don't think it's going to go in his mind. I think he's just, you know, excited to have this opportunity, and you know, no limits put him there. And now it's up to him to close the deal, and I believe he will.
From another perspective, Andre Dirrell views jumping straight into a fight of this magnitude as coming with significant risk, arguing that a return of this level leaves little room to shake off ring rust. He also notes that Tszyu has endured plenty of tough battles himself, making the matchup physically demanding for both men. While Dirrell thinks Spence can still rely on his aggressive style, he questions whether he will handle punishment the way he once did.
Right, he wants the biggest, he don't want to take no warm-up, this and that, right? Because you really got to question how you perform. I don't care how much you've been in that gym sparring, how much you think you're ready. That kind of fight deserves the right kind of comeback, right? So he has to just be careful. But at the same time, like I said, with Tim Tszyu, he's taken enough punishment. He's been knocked out. He's been beat up. You know, he's been cut along on his way to victories. He's been in some wars, right? And so I think it's a good matchup, but both fighters are going to get beat up a little bit. My question is, how is Errol going to come out of this? Is he going to look the way he used to? Well, that's going to be a no for me. But at the same time, it's not hard. He was a come forward puncher, bruiser. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he can still do that. But the punches, the punches that he has to endure, you know, I wonder how he'll absorb those. And, you know, we'll see by the final bell.
Even so, Andre Dirrell expects Spence's biggest challenge may be proving he can still perform under fire after everything he has been through. He views Tszyu as a dependable pressure fighter who has the tools to make the contest highly competitive, leaving the matchup too close to call. Dirrell feels a victory would reignite either man's career, while another loss for Spence would raise even bigger questions about his future.
He might not see this in his head, but his brain remembers the kind of punishment he took, you know. So when he get in there and he take them shots, whether he thinks he's ready for it or not, his brain, his training might not be. You know what I'm saying? So all I can do is hope for the best, man. But, you know, there's nothing special, you know, in regards to his skill set, right? Again, he's just a come-forward fighter, and he's decent in what he does. He's a decent boxer. You know, but he is. This could be potentially dangerous. Again, it's 50-50, man. This could be Tim Tszyu's fight, his comeback, you know what I'm saying, putting him back on the map. And this could be Errol Spence's comeback, putting him back on the map. But a loss of both of these boys, even a close fight or the wrong fight, tell us what we need to know about Spence.
As fight night draws closer, the tension between these two former world champions continues to rise. The war of words has only added more fuel to a matchup that already carries enormous stakes, with both men determined to prove they still belong among boxing's elite. After everything that has been said, the only place left to settle the score is inside the ring on fight night. Who do you think comes out on top when Spence and Tszyu finally meet? Will Spence make a successful comeback, or will Tszyu defend his home turf and take another major step toward the top? Drop your prediction in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more boxing updates.